I'm being told I'm live. I don't know really if I am because it just says live, but I can't watch myself. I mean, I see myself, but I can't watch it. It is 3 p.m. here in the Midwest, in the wonderful Illinois. It's beautiful outside. I'm in the basement, and it is gorgeous outside. It is really gorgeous outside. Um, it's got Chris Freeze. We got Tristan. Yes, I mean, I will stop eating them waffles. Actually, I haven't had waffles in a while. Even stroopwafels. I think I did that better. So we got Scott, we got Mike, we got Craig, we got Alb, we got Mike, we got Tom, we got Anders, and Justin 3D, and Chris Freeze, also known as Inspire 3D, I think is his fancy My Mini Factory name. And Joey. What time does the meet start? Well, tacos are being served in the cafeteria at 6 p.m. And John and Andrew, we're getting everybody. Tom is only here for Thor. Thor's right over here. I'll bring him in here shortly. And Fotis, we've got the man in the house. He's in the chat. I posted a link in the description to his My Mini Factory, and he's going to release the Thor live. I think that's the plan. Is Fotis is actually going to hop onto My Mini Factory and post this Thor live right now. Don't show him if he's only here for Thor. That'll teach him a lesson. So yeah, that my order of today, I think I mentioned it. My order of today is Thor, Fotis Mint, Thor. And then after that, we have a nozzle giveaway for my patrons on Patreon. And then after that, we're going to talk about my custom build. Is it movie accurate? It's pretty darn movie accurate. I would say, looking at this gentleman here next to me in this glass jar, I have a cool reveal for it because I just finished curing it. The German 3D printing nerd. Oh, I don't know what the topics are. Do we have topics? No, the topics are in the description. There's only 3 topics. It's a short day because it's Easter weekend. So after this, it's clean up the rest of what's going on here and then get to stuff. But yeah, no, it's amazing. Let me grab a glove. I really don't need the glove. I'll get a glove anyway. So I'm going to bring him in here. It's going to be really hard to see because he's underwater. Good. He's out of focus and underwater right now. So I cure in water. And that's kind of the cool thing about the CW1 is you can cure however you want. It's got a little rotating base. And I was going to do it live, but I kind of broke my CW1. Don't tell Prusa, but I took it apart. And I was just moving around and doing stuff in there. And I wanted a little quieter fan, so I swapped out some fans, and it's quieter. I liked it. And then I broke something, so the button doesn't work to hold down the UV because there's like a little micro switch that turns on the UV lights when you set it to cure, and I broke that. So I get a rig it by just I kind of ghetto rig it by holding the wires together. And don't take apart your CW1 when you get it because you probably won't be able to put it back together again. So, but I cure underwater. So you have options. Like normally there's this rotating base. You set the print on it. It dries the print first. So it runs it at about 30 C and some hot air blows on it and it dries the print. And then it goes immediately into the curing feature, which runs for whatever predetermined amount of time that you have. I think mine's set for 5 minutes to cure. Yeah, just don't tell Joseph I broke his CW1 that he sent me to beta test. I will fix it. I have a new micro switch coming. So thankfully he sent it to someone that might possibly be able to fix it, because if I didn't, that'd be a really sad panda story. So in here is Thor, and what I did on this Thor, I don't print a lot of big minis on when I have my Photon, because I always had issues with things sticking to the build plate. I never had really great adhesion, so I kind of stayed away from big prints. So what I did when I did do them, I hollowed them. So I hollowed this model in mesh mixer. Is like the Humpty Dumpty. Can the Chris's put it back together again? So I threw it through mesh mixer, did a hollow, and put 2 holes in it. What the hollowing does, it makes a lot less weight and a lot less force per peel. So on large objects, you can have more success printing them. The only downfall is it does put 2 small holes in the print, but I figure if I put one underneath in the bottom and a small one as the back, no one's going to look at it anyway, because you're going to look at this guy in his front because he's pretty sexy. So let's pull him out and let's go ahead and drain him. So we'll drain, as you can see, there's a hole there and a hole underneath. So we're draining Thor of all his watery goodness because I like to cure underwater. So the difference between curing underwater and curing in air is the water allows a much more even curing. And second, it allows no oxygen to be between the cure and the material, so you actually get less aberrations when you cure. So no, Slicer does not have a hollow function just yet. So let me finish shaking off. Oh, is his name Chris Hemsworth? I always forget who plays Thor, man. Yes, please add a hollowed STL. That helps us weirdos out that beta test does not equal modding. You know, I am a rogue. I think that's why Prusa likes having me test stuff, because I did the same thing with MMU too. I was like, I'm going to try these other mods, and then it didn't really work out that well. But hey, it's Jake from State Farm. So let me go and dry them off. By the way, this thing looks pretty glorious. Pretty glorious. I was looking at it earlier, and I haven't taken it out yet, so I don't even know if it's going to be good. I could have issues with it. All they do is take the supports off, and that's it. SLA is cheating. Let me go grab my paper towel over here. By the way, it's very light. I do have a scale over here, so I can measure how light this guy is once he's... I did print it in the lowest quality because I wanted to see how that worked out. You haven't missed much. We haven't even looked at the Thor yet. I'm just drying off Mr. Thor here, who looks glorious. So this is Fun to Do Ash Gray, which is by far my favorite resin for D&D minis, because the gray is so clean. It's such a perfect gray for high detail prints and things like that. So make sure there's no more water boogies. Shake them out. Anyway, a 3D printing llama. Wow, that is pretty darn awesome. So let's go ahead and put him up in front of the camera. So this is Thor. Well, let me get his eyeballs. Yeah. There's Thor in SL1 awesomeness. The time settings, if I slide over here to Slicer and open it up, because Prusa already made a profile for it, and I've just been using it, and it seems to work great. The settings are material settings. We have 9 seconds per layer with a 40-second initial. So 40 seconds on the first initial ones. And yeah, it's basically, I mean, this is perfect. There is, yeah. It's pretty darn fabulous. And you can see like there's a hole underneath for doing all the fancy stuff. So my technique for SLA printing is it isn't really unique, but it's one that I've learned. So I throw it in a hot water bath, not hot water bath, but a, you know, warm faucet water bath. And then I just pop all the supports off, because once it's warm, the supports pop off so easy. I mean, you just run your hand down and all the supports pop right off. And I used quite a bit of support because I really wanted to make sure this turned out. Because I had one shot to make it work. It was literally like, Fotis is like, hey, can you print this? I was like, yeah, I can see how it prints. And it's just been such a hectic weekend. I still got some water on it. But yeah, it is so minty fresh. So good. Oh, me. There you go. That's the closest I'm ever going to get to a Marvel movie superhero. So yeah, I run it in warm water, and it's just warm tap water. And then once it's warm, the support just, you know, I'll do a day where I do my SL1, my print cleanups, but warm water, support just melt off. You just rake your hand across it, and all the supports come off. No problem. Even on gentle prints, you know. And then into a soapy water bath, into the SL1 cleaning machine, and I run it through the isopropyl alcohol. I have Montecure's Resin Away in there right now. And then after that, I put it in distilled water and run it in the cure station. And I just love how this turned out. Let me get even closer to the camera. Look at it, just so pretty. It's just so perfect and pretty, and details are all there. I'll snap some photos and throw it up on the Instagram. So, Fotis, should post that. People are really going to want to, you know, people are really going to want this because, I mean, it looks just like me. Same beard, same hairdo, just me dressed as Thor. Yeah, that turned out pretty spectacular. And no smell. So, but yeah, it was the, it's been really fun using the SL1 and the curing station. The curing washing station, I kind of went back to my old habit of washing the way I like to wash, and then using just the isopropyl, you know, spinny, fancy machine wash to do the final isopropyl wash. I'm using Monocular resin away. And then not doing a dry, and this because you can set it on the machine. You can set it to dry and cure, just dry, just cure. So I set it to just cure, and I set it for like 5 minutes. I throw it in this glass beaker, and you can see it's kind of hazy, and this is just distilled water in here, and it should be pretty good. So whatever resin was left on your print is now floating in here, and it's not sticking to your print. So yeah, that's how I do it. Really, Jake from State Farm washes all of his things with the soapy water. I have never done that. I will now wash all my prints in soapy water because I think it works. Gosh, it looks really good. Okay, I'm gonna stop looking at this. So next on the agenda is the patrons. So patrons, you guys, I posted. So I did the nozzle things, and I got my nozzles back, and I don't need these nozzles. So I've got a Slice vanadium nozzle. I've got a Midwest tungsten nozzle, and I've got a Nozzle X nozzle, all brand new, never been used. I don't need them. All my printers have nozzles, and yeah, that was the lowest quality. That was point something 5.1 or 0.1, whatever it was. It was whatever the settings were. That were those small, just the built-in. I mean, I could probably pick different ones that are worse. What is the glass transition temperature for Thor? I don't know what the glass transition temp is of fun to do resin. This isn't the industrial resin. This is just their fun to do whatever ash gray. Maybe it is industrial. Oh yeah, you can definitely not have enough nozzles. I have a box of them somewhere in here. Just like your brass nozzles and whatever. But I have more slice nozzles, and I have more, you know, but I figured I'd give these away to the patrons. So let me screen share. And, oh wait, it's on this page. No, it's on this page. And then I go to randomresults.com. So there were a lot of people. These are all the people that said they wanted a free nozzle. And if we go to my Patreon, gosh, I can never. Patrons, you humans are my patrons. This is my Patreon. I will get this right correctly at some point. So let's go to the nozzle post because I said something about the nozzles. All right, so I'm giving them away in order. So up for grabs is Slice Vanadium, then a Nozzle X, and then a Midwest Tungsten nozzle. So in that order. So I'm going to use this random generator here. So there was 128 people who said they wanted it and 4 who didn't. 4 people didn't want a free nozzle. That's fair enough. So here are 128 names. As soon as I hit draw now, it's going to pick 3 winners out of these random names, and in order. So number 1 will win the Slice nozzle. So number 1. Number 2 will win the Nozzle X, and number 3 will win the Midwest Tungsten nozzle. And I will ship those out to you wherever you are, people who said they wanted it. So let's hit this draw button here. So draw now. And the first one is Mr. Allen. So let me do a screenshot of this. Dun, dun, dun. So, Alan, you have won a Slice Engineering nozzle. Chris Stone, you have won a Nozzle X. And Dennis Schult, you have won a Midwest Tungsten nozzle. Congratulations to all three of you. You're all victorious today. Your battle was mighty, and your prizes are probably mightier than the battle was because I just hit a button. So, haha, I hope you all enjoy your fantastic hope everyone enjoys their thingies. Yes, I do have a ton of patrons now. It is amazing on there. And I finally got paid out, so I can finally go meet up the guys at Oscar Mike. And do I have their stickers? I have their stickers right here. I can go meet the humans at the Oscar Mike because my first month's income from patron is going to be a gift, a donation to Oscar Mike Foundation to help out injured vets and all their injured vet activities that they do. So, let's see. I'm not grumpy about that. So, yeah, I will get these nozzles off. I'll message the three of y'all on the Patreon and get your shipping and contact info because the names sound familiar because you're on my Patreon, but I don't know where you live. Probably best that I didn't know where you lived before. Channel plug. What's your channel, Knack 3D Designs? And if it has to do with a daughter, oh, you bet your daughter, you bet 800. Oh man, I should let your daughter win. Every month going forward is going to go towards projects, Justin 3D. So I've already spent some on some ABS material. So anytime I do a project, any of the proceeds that come in are going to go towards those projects. So, and all the patrons vote on my project. So the number one project right now was working on ABS and Flex PLA profiles. And the ABS is just waiting on a super ghetto rigged enclosure because I'm having issues with bridging. Because anytime I try to do any bridging, it just decides to fall apart. Yeah, so we're gonna get that ghetto rig station to see if that helps my bridging in ABS. And I've been documenting my woes and successes in ABS printing. It's not as easy as PLA. I will say that PLA is much easier than ABS. PETG is also much easier. Heck, nylon was easier than ABS. I can print small bridges just fine. Those longer bridges sure do look like poop. You know, once they get past like a full centimeter and a half. So yeah, pretty poop. But we got RCCNC here. He's gonna help me out eventually. I'm just working at it on my own. I'm gonna try to figure it out, and then I'm gonna turn to the crowds, the masses. Whoa, what happened to my camera feed? Whoa, my camera feed. Oh, there I'm back. I was freaking out. So there's that. I did print some Easter prints. I can grab them. Let me grab them because Chris Freeze is in the house. And yes, you can share a link here, Fotis, and I will accept your let's see here. Post away. You're now a moderator. I no longer have to worry about it. Let me grab my Easter prints because Chris Freeze made some amazing woven eggs. I saw them and people were printing them and they looked amazing. So let me walk over here and I'm gonna go grab those eggs. I'll be right back. I'm back. So we have a couple of woven eggs, and these things are super cool. I don't know how he did it. He's kind of a magician. He made these eggs. They're woven. This one was printed in atomic iridescent C transparent PLA. It has a it's a light blue green. so like a sea green, and there's blue glitter in it. Very fine blue glitter in it. So it has this very fine iridescence to it. Now, this filament is so cool. This is one of my favorite new materials from Atomic Filaments. So this is their, hold on, I can pull it up. I have it on my desktop. Somewhere on my desktop, I have this material. Maybe I don't have it on my desktop. Somewhere I have this material. It is something iridescent something. Yeah. Hey, Hawk 3D, I'm glad to be streaming too. But this is like this light purple pink with gold glitter in it, slightly transparent. So it has another nice iridescence to it. This one is definitely has that nice sheen to it that I really enjoy in the Atomic filament, their transparent filament. So did I run through all of my... I've run through 5 spools of CF material right now in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's insane how much carbon fiber material, which I guess we can just get into, because let's talk about the printer I'm working on. Let me grab the frame. Haha. I better hide these nozzles before I start putting them on printers. Thor! We'll put Thor next to Uncle Sam with tattoos. They're about equal in awesomeness. I am running the Slice Vanadium nozzle. So these guys. Slice Vanadium nozzle. And they are still running as champs. I mean, this printer, this one right here. Oh, no, this one in the blue. The blue guy, he's on 3.5 kilograms straight, nonstop of CFPTG. Green over here is on 3 full spools of CFPTG. Don't put Thor next to electronics. So I have this awesome bear frame that came in from LDO. It's this, they call it space gray, but it's kind of amazing. So this frame that I'm going to make with all the black hardware, so I even have black screws and more black screws and more black parts and these anodized black corners. Yeah. So those are all going to be used. And then I printed all my parts. In CFPTG. So this specifically is this is 3DX Tech CFPTG, and this is the inside. This is the Zerabo Bear Einstein case. So pretty sweet. It looks amazing. And I really like the contrast. So I was going to do Atomic, but I really like the contrast of the lighter gray and the gray frame. I thought that was a really nice contrast. So that's going to be kind of awesome. The Atomic CFPTG is much more black. It is actually very black for CFPTG, which is why I like it. Also has a sheen to it. This is more matte, and I figured the contrast would be really nice. So I have a whole box of printed parts. Let's see. Someone just asked if they can use a clone Einstein with Prusa firmware. Yes, you can. But do remember that all clone Einsteins are actually illegal because they also clone Prusa's unique USB identifier ID, which Prusa does pay for. It is a yearly fee to have your own unique USB ID. And those manufacturers in China that clone them clone also that USB ID. So I do not... I will not agree to anyone buying a clone unless that clone has their own unique ID that they need to pay for. So, secret printer. There's a secret printer over there. It'll be coming out soon. I need to swap out a driver on it. This is the cool printer I'm working on, which is this new custom bear. And I think some people on the internet Let me slide this box out of the way. So I have this custom printer I'm working on. Let me slide over the bits. This is kind of messy. This is how I make. There we go. So it's hard to see, but this is running stock Marlin. I have made a stock Marlin build running not on the Prusa Einsi board, but on the Einsi Retro board. And it's hard to tell the difference between the Einsi and the Einsi Retro. The Einsi Retro is 1224 volt, same as the Einsi, same as whatever. But think of it as the mini Rambo that's in your Mark IIs, Mark 2.5 with trinamic drivers. So if I put 12 volts in here, I get 12 volt fans. If I put 24 volts in here, I get 24 volt fans. No more 5.5 or no more 5 volt fans. No more, weird conversions there. It can still run a Pinda. It can still run the MMU2 because stock Marlin actually has MMU2 capabilities built in. And it has the exact same footprint. So I want to build a firmware that, like this green one is Mark 2.5, and it's loud. You might be able to hear that just sound. And that's because it runs on those old drivers that weren't silent. So I'll eventually be able to make a firmware that mimics Prusa's as best as possible, and then just put in Einsi Retro in that, and it'll be silent. So that would be my Mark IVs. It won't be a Mark IV. It'll just be, I think I'm going to start calling it the Retro X. So, yeah, with TMCs definitely run 24 volts. I mean, they'll work at 12, but they'll be definitely less beefy. But yeah, I'll gain sensorless homing. I'll gain the ability to run BL Touch if I want to run BL Touch, so I can run like thick sheets of Garolite. I can do all kinds of fun stuff. So, yes, there is. Antonio makes a board that just does the 2208s. The only difference being is I really want to not have to have the extra board and a fan and soldering. But I will do one. So I will do one of those crazy blah, blah, blah. When will Prusa move to 32-bit? Well, they've already moved to 64. The processor in the SL1 is actually a 64-bit Linux board. So they've already gone past everybody else. So I think the future is not using one of these boards, but actually using an ARM board with a 64-bit processor, and then putting sandwiching it on something else that does all the movement bits and stuff. So why go 32-bit when we can already go 64? I mean, we can have real-time processors and math magic, and I'm horrible at the computer stuff. So we got Wexter and Fotis. So yeah, Prusa's already gone to 64. So I think they're going to stick with that. I think that's the one thing no one really talks about with the SL1. It does have a fancy board in there. Do I have a copy of it? No, I don't. I have the daughter board. I have an extra daughter board somewhere in a package. Nope, but I have an Einsi. The Einsi is open source. Ulti Machines, all of their boards are open source. So, yeah. And the SL1 is open source. So this will move the market forward if people want to. So this was a fun project doing this. But I want to try something. Chris Riley from Chris's Basement helped me out with an issue. I don't know if anyone saw the image on Twitter where I installed Marlin 2.0 on here. I did a direct conversion of my Marlin 2.0 settings and whipped out a firmware and installed it, and I had a bunch of weird gobbledygook on my screen. It just said no. It just said like whoa. It was horrible. But it worked. Like you can click around and you can change settings. Like I heated it up one time. I don't know. So Chris Riley messaged me on the Twitter and said, "Hey bro, I fixed your issue." So I'm going to go on the screen real quick. So I won't be able to see 3D printing live from Ultimate Machine. Ultimaker does not make the board. Ultimaker is not open source. That would be hilarious if they did. Yeah. Yeah. Ultimaker does not make the boards. Crazy guys. In which year or decades? They have announced the end of April. So I think they're sticking to that one. So soon. Wait, end of April? End of May? I have no clue. Soon. Let me screen share. Let's see here. Screen share. Let's hop over to Atom and Platform IO. So here's my configuration stuff. And I needed to change some stuff because I thought I could fix things. Let's see here. Where is Command F? Can I find scroll? Ah, yes, status message scrolling. We'll define that. Define the LCD timeout. And that should be it. Hit verify. Save and build. So I did some changes based on the Chris Riley. And I always got it to build. It just, when I went to install the firmware, it was being a horrible friend. So this might be, yeah, I know. This might actually be kind of amazing. Look at that. It's doing all kinds of cool stuff. Now I have the Rambo things enabled. So we'll see if this finishes compiling. Yay! So it compiled successfully, which means it is in a folder. So let's open up a folder here. And documents and 3D printing and firmware and Marlin firmware and this folder and Rambo and Hex. Yep, today at 3:29. Yep, so this is the firmware. So let's go ahead and, I didn't move it there, did I? No, okay. We're going to name this retrox.hex. And I need a USB cable. We'll see if I can get Marlin 2.0 running on here. I need a USB cable. And I also need something else. Where is my USB cable? I'm going to take a look at the chat real quick. See how that's going. Is that the Matrix? Yeah, basically. Good. Not too much crazy stuff going on in the chat. But yeah. Where is... I might not be able to do this live. I'm using all of my USB ports, and I don't have my USB hub anywhere nearby. And if I unplug anything, this might be bad. Actually, you know what? I can unplug my mic, and I can update it. Unos momentos. Should probably muted that. You guys probably didn't need to hear all that nonsense. So I'm going to mute myself for a second. I'm going to connect the USB. Connect the USB over here. So yeah, I'm going to go silent for a second. Don't mind me. Dun, dun. And flash printer firmware. Browse. Oh, I know what I can't do. Browse. Desktop. Open. Flash. Go, go. Oh! All right. Testing. Testing, testing, testing. Hey! All right, let's see here. Da-da-da-da. Chris is mutating? Yes. They should call it Merlin. Ba-ba-ba. Oh, was that really loud? I apologize. But guess what? Thanks to Chris Riley, it works. Ooh. Let's see here. Motion. Move axis. Move z-axis. Move it by 10 millimeters at a time. Z-axis motor. It's moving. So Chris Riley from Chris's Basement. We've now made it possible for this gentleman here to run Marlin 2.0 on his new fancy printer build. Move the y-axis. Move it 10 millimeters. This is how I test my firmwares. Oh! Oh. I might have the microstepping wrong on that. Okay. And what else I got? What else can I do here? I haven't actually messed around. Ooh, I can. Ooh, about this printer. Printer info. Yeah. Marlin bug fix 2.0.x. Yeah, Chris Riley is the man. Bro fist for the Chris Riley. All right. Board info. I can see retro, baud rate. Yep, yep. Mm-hmm. Thermistors. Ooh, look at that. Thermistors, they're reading their temperatures. Printer stats. I haven't printed a single thing on this printer. I wonder why. So, looks like we're good. I just got to, ooh, there's advanced settings, set home offsets, velocities. Ooh, TMC driver settings. Ooh, stepper mode. Wow, I can change. There's a lot of cool things on here. Probe Z offset, preheats, store. Okay. Well, I'm going to mess around with this more, not on stream. What is easier to work with, Repetia or Marlin? You know what was easier to work with? RepRap. Doing the duet board was amazing. They have this online configurator. You just boop, 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 plug in settings, and then it exports this file for you, and you upload the file, and then you change stuff. Literally, you can log in your duet, change settings, and it'll hit refresh, and it'll refresh the thing, and your settings are live. You don't have to, like, do anything. But I have never tried Repetia firmware, which I believe has kind of that same settings thing. But Marlin is really easy. I don't consider it very difficult. So I won't, this is what I'm going to say now. There's no magic that went into making this firmware. It's actually just, one, reading a whole bunch, two, asking a lot of questions, and three, uncommenting a lot of things. Now, I don't know if it'll work. I know that I know Chris helped me with the pin to probe. The pin to probe should work correctly, which is right here. If I touch metal to it, it should be like, oh, Z-axis. Yeah, the light does turn on and off as it gets close to metal. And I have the settings for BL Touch. Ooh, I went Maestro. It was easier, and it's cheaper. For the price, the Maestro is an awesome board. I definitely need to change. So this is running the Maestro right here. And it's awesome, but I need to switch it to direct drive. Bowden and all that magic. You can't go very fast when you have 5mm retractions. So throwing on that 32-bit board on that printer was pretty crazy. The web configurator is pretty darn amazing. It does lack some of the cool features, like, you know, having a screen, but they do have on the Maestro, you can run a standard screen on it. So I do like that better. So if you have like a regular, like the graphics display or the rep discount smart controller or whatever, they will work. This is 3D printer. I swear I made a name. I'll have to go look at my files and change it from 3D printer to my fancy name. But yeah, so the printer that I'm building is going to be an 9C Retro with a 24-volt power supply, which I already have right here. I'm running, let me grab the box. This is what's going in there. So the hot end will be an E3D V6 with a sliced vanadium nozzle with a MK3 heat break and a E3D copper block. I've got my copious amounts of LL2 GT RF belt. So this is just really nice Gates belt. I have got my Slice Engineering 1.5 Newton meter torque wrench. So only torque to 1.5 Newton meters. We've got these hybrid 0.9 degree X and Y steppers. So why 0.9? So if you can imagine these as teeth, and this is, let's say this is 1.8 degree. As the teeth and the thread are moved, there's this gap. So you've got full magnetic force here, and then they switch and you get almost none. You have this very low point, and then it connects. 0.9 is half the distance, so you get less of a variable. So you have less high to low difference in torque, and that means smoother motion. So even if I lower the micro stepping, which I'm going to, so I'm going to go to 1/8 versus 1/16 micro stepping, I will still get smoother motion on the 0.9 degree because there's less torque loss for max to min. So I should get better prints, and we'll find out. Who knows? If I don't like them, they are quick disconnect motors and all that fun stuff. And then I've got some fans. We're gonna run Vesconite bushings on the X and Y axis. So these are the Vesconite bushings, the white ones. And we're gonna run THK bearings on the Z axis because I don't want to put bushings on the Z. And those are my palm nuts. And I've got some, I think that's about it for the fancy stuff. I've got some 24-volt fans. I just need to terminate them correctly. So I ran 0.9 on this Prusa for a while and didn't get skips. But I did change the voltage and I did lower the micro stepping. So why not bushings on the Z? It's tough because on the Prusa system you run 2 bearings on top of each other, which is actually not very efficient. One long bearing would have been better than doing 2. So if one has a slight micro alignment issue, and the other one has a micro alignment issue in the opposite direction, you're going to get binding. And bushings are much easier to bind than bearings. So I went with the bearings on the Z because they're much harder to bind. It's up a skewed view. Like, no, I need this box. This box has my precious things in it. So I've been collecting all these random things I'm going to put on this printer. Phoenix connector, you know, fun stuff like that. So, but it should run with the 0.9s. Yeah, I ran it on the Prusa over here without lowering micro steps, and it ran fine. I didn't run it as fast. That's the nice thing about the Prusas, since they're a bed slinger. I definitely am not ramping up to 300 millimeters per second that often and letting it whiz. If I had a Core XY, I'd just be like, everything's printing at 100 minimum. Everything, 100. Heck yeah, look at that. We got a Thanos sword everyone should print. Yeah, I will continue to figure out that 0.9. Yes, Flavio. I am running them on this printer now, and this printer, and this printer. So 3 printers are running the Vesconite bushings, and they're all running kind of amazingly. They're much quieter and they're much smoother. And unlike the IGUS, I'm not getting detrimental print issues. Ooh. Yeah, Knack, you need to crank it up, man. You got to go to 500. If you're not printing at 500 millimeters per second, you're not printing at all, are you? You're just, you know, doodling. No. So this is basically gonna be a really fun build. I do have some more stuff coming from Printed Solid. I got their quick link disconnect Z steppers coming in. I do have 1.8 degree, so right here, these are the 1.8 degree in case those 0.9 doesn't work out. I've got Thor right here. He's gonna, you know, electrocharge my amazing printer in case it's not printing correctly. Yeah, if you might have to go Magnum. I do need to get a Mosquito. I really wish I can take my Mosquito, put it into my Bondtech extruder, and then have this awesome Bondtech Mosquito printer. Future, who knows? All right, have fun, German printing nerd. You enjoy your German printing. And Mihao, also have a fantastic day and an Easter. And Game of Thrones does start soon. This is perfect. We did a Thor, and now you can watch Game of Thrones. Yes, you can go linear rail. And someone just did post an amazing linear rail swap for the y-axis. And I'm excited to see people print that, and I might do that myself. I might really want to do that. Yeah, Bonsquito. Bonsquito. That is an amazing name that I'm forever going to try to remember. Ooh, the Tivo Tornado with a Mosquito. Yeah, the Vesconite are really different. They don't have the gaps, and they're definitely a lot. The tolerance is tighter. That was my issue with IGUS on a regular Prusa rod. They would just wobble around. Here, hold on. Do I have them right next to me? Normally I have like all these extra bearings and bushings sitting next to me because I'm always moving around stuff. But I don't. You just got to do carbon fiber linear rails. 5 out of 6 printers down. I'm not printing on 2 printers right now. I don't know why. They should be working. I'm being lazy. BMG does make one, but it doesn't fit on my Prusa. Someone's gonna have to make a happy baby. Ooh. X-axis linear rail. I think the only way I'd be excited for linear rail on the X is if it had a support rod, like a 2020 extrusion to nail it to. They are stiffer than, I don't know, 1 or 2. I need to see someone make it. That's the thing, is I'm not the best engineer. I did go to school for it. I understand most of the concepts, but I'm trying to figure out how difficult that is to line up. On the y-axis, it seems very easy to line up because you have printed parts on rails, so you can slide around and off a little bit. You can, you know, calibrate it. But when it's on the x-axis, where in the world, how would you line up 2 there easily? Oh, Game of Thrones is tomorrow? I don't watch Game of Thrones. I don't know. Someone said they're going to watch Game of Thrones. It is Sunday in some places. Maybe they're in Australia. Uh-oh. Carbon fiber linear rail, Ewan. Yeah, smooth rods are odd. The 8mm smooth rods are not strong enough. 10mm would have been better. I am being super duper. Matthew, I'll try to continue to be awesome. Elliot, your printer shipped. Or your printer part shipped. So Elliot in the UK, your parts are on their way. I think I might have messaged you that. So I've been printing a whole bunch of carbon fiber parts for people on the Patreon. So Elliot was one of those. And it took me longer than expected because I keep forgetting the little things. The little cable holder on the back of the Bear extruder. I kept forgetting to print those. I was like, so I had to make special, like I had to stop things and whatever. INC Retro is great. Thanks to Chris Riley from Chris's Basement. I now have it running on Marlin 2.0. Dude, that torque wrench is awesome. I've always just kind of done that quarter turn thing, but yeah, the quarter turn is no longer going to be a thing. I'm just going to use the 1.5 Newton meter torque wrench, and then once it's torqued down, it's good. It's not going to be too much. It's not going to be too little. I shouldn't get any more leaks. Shouldn't have to redo anything. I'm going to be excited for it. I can't wait to try it. It's going to be the first thing to try, and I am going to hook it up on the board to Bear and do. I want to build a test station. It's got a board, and I can be like, oh, plug in the hot end, and then hold the hot end here, and then tighten it all together. So yeah. Ooh, long bearing. Ooh, bolted to half. I wish I had a 1/2 inch aluminum bar. What am I printing? More carbon fiber parts. This is printing the last of what I need for my printer. This is printing orders. This one is printing some parts in silver. And there's a printer over there printing, and the SL1 is printing D&D minis. So, yes. Have you checked your live Z? Schweizer noticed the custom shirt I was wearing at Murph that I'm wearing again. I need to wear my RCCNC shirts. They're still in the car. I haven't really finished unpacking yet because I am a weirdo. But yeah, that's basically it. That's all we want to go over. We got our winners. Let me scroll over. So Alan, Chris Stone, and Dennis are the winners of nozzles. Anytime you're out of Vertigo Galaxy, anyone needs a hug. If you're out of anything. Ooh, Midwest Steel Supply. That sounds like it's near me because I'm in the Midwest. So we got the winners. We got the awesome Thor, which is going to be on my mini factory today. In ash gray, fun to do. Which looks pretty darn awesome. Let me get it even closer. Focus. Right, yeah, there we go. Yeah. He never looks so good. That's such a good job. It's just like me. It's gonna be my new friend. I'm gonna hang him up in my room. Put it in the office. In the custom build. So thanks to Chris Riley, we're now doing this. And of course, Chris Freeze's awesome Easter eggs, the woven eggs in the atomic filament. God, this pink thing is awesome. And of course, Oscar Mike. What would we be without Oscar Mike? Uh-oh. Wexter, he's on it. Veteran, he's posting stuff for Fotis. Also printed this the other day. This was super sweet. Dun, dun, dun. Look at that bridging. So many bridges. That filament's awesome. Bridging. I'm my horsey with a unicorn head. And some Uncle Jesse's PLA. Not Uncle Jesse. Some Jesse's PLA from Printed Solid. I've been printing a lot of crazy stuff, man. Just printing. So blue. This blue is ridiculous. Look at this blue. It's so blue and bluish. All right. I'm going to head off. I'm going to have an Easter. Just bring the dryer and make the hair, man. RCCNC, I can send you that bug fix, but Chris Riley should definitely post that awesome bug. It was changing the environment. I was apparently not in, I was in the at Mega 2560 environment on Platform IO. I should have been in the Rambo environment on Platform IO in Atom. That's what made the work for the Marlin 2.0 on this screen. I need to learn more about this Marlin 2.0. But yeah, that blue, these colors are amazing. These filament manufacturers, it's pretty awesome. It's like every day someone comes up with something cool. And then all these dang artists like like Fotis and Eastman and Vedran and Chris Fries and all these crazy humans making things like unicorns. I can wear it as a hat. I haven't finished one of these, by the way. This is an extra one I made because I just really like the fact that it printed and it has all that crazy bridging. Mark Jones, I am offering them to my patrons only for now because I am not in full production. I need one more printer. I need 2 more printers with the right nozzles in order to keep up. I can maybe print a full bear in 3 to 4 days because it's a lot. It's about it's a little over half a kilogram of filament. So if you are a patron, I will eventually post again. And if I ever do get like a full production setup where 4 printers can run constantly, I'll start posting a link to order, a general like order link. But for now, it's only for the patrons because they'll put up with me and my slow time. They also get a discount because they're patrons. But I will keep everyone informed on the carbon fiber printing. It's super fun. It's my new favorite material. It should be everyone's favorite material. It's super, super sexy. Those prints. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. 2.5 kilograms of material for a white knight. Wow. Ewan, you need some carbon fiber filament. All right, but on that note, Chris is going to head off. Fotis, awesome job on this amazing Thor here that I printed on the SL1. The Chris Fries for the Easter eggs, special, super awesome. This is the 3DX Tech CF. They have a lot of carbon fiber in here. This thing feels so different, so cool. Thanks to Ultimachine for making the INC Retro. It's an amazing board. No, I'm just kidding. Anybody else? Oh, and Chris Riley for helping me make sure that Marlin 2.0 would work on this board. So now my future builds will have Marlin 2.0 on it. So to everyone, thank you. Patrons, thank you. I'll send out these nozzles. If you're watching this live, just message me on the Patreon and send me your contact info so I can ship you these next week as soon as possible because I need to go out on Monday. The UK is about $25 to ship one whole. Everything fits in one of these. I can fit a whole printer and parts in this box. So yeah, 1 hour, man. It's Easter weekend, bro. I got the lady coming to town, and I still need to finish working on the shed. And I got to play with my dog, who just came in. Kona, come here. Come here. Come here, Kona. Come here. Come here. Up, up. Up, up. Up, up. Come here. It's a Kona. She decided to join us because I left the basement door open. She's such a sweetheart. She's really good at hugs. What are you doing? Where have you been? Do you want to go play Frisbee? You want to go play Frisbee? Okay, okay. She wins. She wants to play Frisbee. So,
I will talk to everybody soon. Happy Easter. Thank you, Fotis, Chris Fries, Chris Riley, everyone, all the patrons. Enjoy. So everyone, stay out of trouble, and we will talk to you super soon. Peace out. Yeah, Kona, we're going to go play Frisbee. Stop crying.